on my first trip abroad, and as a good American girl from New York, where I went first was to Paris. Somebody drove me to Florence and introduced me to some of the young people there. And among them was this blonde, blue-eyed count. He was about to leave for excuse me, a diamond hunting expedition in the South American jungle. The thing that attracted me was certainly not diamonds. It was jungle. And in fact, as a child, I was always attracted to Tarzan and everything that had to do with jungles, because it seemed to me, and this is in retrospect, because I didn't have the words then, but I'm sure this was it, because it just feels right, that there was something original about it. There was something right about it. If you're in a jungle and you're a person animal, then you've got to be in the right place. It felt as though whatever went wrong, it hadn't gone wrong yet while you were still in the jungle, something like that. And Tarzan even was represented as pure. So that view of man in the jungle was that he's pure when he's in the jungle. I think that was the whole idea. I then realized that I had not just unlearned, as I thought of it, a lot of presumptions that we have about human nature, such as, for example, boys will be boys, bad, you know. Oh, well, it's only human nature, bad. Well, you have to socialize children because otherwise they will be antisocial or at least asocial or something. I was living for literally years. It was over, it was about 3 years or thereabouts, that I was looking straight at these Indians, living with them, and not seeing what I was looking at, because I just was so blinded by our view that I didn't even notice, amazingly enough, that the children never argued, unsupervised. They'd play together all day, unsupervised, tiny children from, you know, whatever, crawling, walking age, 1 year, whatever, up until, you know, the age they could still be called children, 10, 12, and 14 or whatever. They never, not only didn't fight, but they never even argued. And, I mean, this is not what we have been taught is human nature, or boys will be boysing, you know, at all. So I thought, well, boys won't be boys? There's something wrong here. Somebody's got something wrong here. Well, they're exactly the same species as we, except that they are behaving the way we have all evolved to behave. And we are completely crazed with being mistreated as infants and children, treated inappropriately for our species. And as a result, what we have done, and I'm putting it strongly on purpose because it is this bad, we have actually created an antisocial population by this very means. It's not an accident. Nobody's born rotten. You don't have just bad kids. It's not true. There is no such thing, but you can make them. We so clearly are expected to do this that because we are so social, ironically, we meet those expectations because our sociality actually develops in human beings that way. The way it is meant to develop, that we meet the expectations of our elders. And now this is, whenever historically this reversal took place, when our elders stopped expecting us to be social and expected us to be antisocial, just to put it in gross terms, that's when the real fall took place. And we are paying for it so dearly. I mean, just imagine the alienated people that we have around us. Why do we have to lock our doors? Why do we have all these police forces? Why do we have armies against each other? I mean, it's not just Americans, it's the whole of Western civilization, so-called, whatever, you know, I mean, loosely called Western civilization, laboring under a misapprehension about what human nature in fact is. What I think I can contribute is to say and to draw attention to what is in fact our evolved nature, what is our innate, what are our innate tendencies and expectations. Now, these are things that have stood up now over the passage of time, because my book, when I finally did write it, the continuum concept came out first in England in 1975 and then in America in 77 and other countries later. It happens even when babies are drinking their mother's milk. how on earth could we conceivably believe that we are evolved after hundreds of thousands, nay, millions of years into what we've now become, which is Homo sapiens, without somehow solving the problem of digesting our own mother's milk? I mean, no other animal has this. And it stands to reason that our mother's milk is digestible to us just as it is to every other animal. So why do we have indigestion? Well, I think it's quite clear that the reason that we have indigestion so uniformly, mind you, the people that I saw in the jungle never had indigestion unless they were violently ill with some fever or something. The babies, they never threw up. They didn't certainly routinely throw up. And they were also not wriggling and struggling and arching and flexing and squeaking and so forth like ours do normally. We keep saying normal because we've never seen a comfortable baby is the truth of it. Well, what it is stress. I mean, the babies are so stressed that they can't keep their food down. One of the great things is that the first minute that a baby is born, it's opposed by being taken out of the womb, and immediately, well, first things are stuck up its nose and things are stuck down its throat for reasons. They're always technical reasons. I mean, to take out mucus or to do this or do that, whatever it is. Okay. And then weigh it and measure it, which isn't doing anybody any good to weigh and measure a baby at that thing, but it's not going to do the baby any good to be weighed and measured whatsoever. What it needs is to be in its mother's arms, and the mother even more so needs to have the baby in her arms so as to have this beautiful moment of falling in love, which is all choreographed by these exquisitely evolved hormones which make it happen right away. Because you're all programmed to fall madly in love with it and to put its life even, above your own in your caring for it. It's very important that we have this great falling in love, otherwise known as bonding, otherwise known as imprinting, kind of ceremony, which is built into us. It's built in because it has to be. It has to be for our survival. It has to have been there for us to have been the successful species that we are. Successful meaning that we survived. So that the baby arrives, and I insist that it has an innate expectation that it will be among trustworthy allies, and that whoever holds it and whoever is in charge of it has it in her or his care will be someone who is friendly, if you like, who is on, if I'm the baby, is on my side. Well, that's not what happens. They're not on my side. Whatever I want, they say no. I want to be with my mommy. I want to sleep with her. I want to be close. I want to be safe. I want to be with someone alive who's breathing and who's warm and who smells right and who feels right and who touches me and makes me feel my own flesh appropriately. Not a lifeless box, a lifeless cloth, and hear myself screaming in my own ears and hear other people screaming around me and get no response. Because I feel when I scream, when I'm a newborn baby, I feel when I scream that something's supposed to happen because I scream. That's why I'm screaming, not just to scream, but because I'm waiting, I'm expecting something. And it doesn't come, and I just scream more until I'm exhausted. So what normal is adversarial. I hope it shocks people a little bit when they realize that what they're doing with all the love that they have in their hearts, and I have no doubt of that, is adversarial. When you're following the doctors or the experts or your mother-in-law or your mother or your sister or whatever it is, and you are feeding the baby on a schedule, or you are denying it sleeping with you and being with you 24 hours a day, not less, you're being adversarial, because it's perfectly clear that unanimously all the millions, billions of babies who are crying at this very moment because they want to be next to a live body. Can they really, you really think they're all wrong? Couldn't possibly all be wrong. This is the voice of nature. This is the voice of not intellectually interfered with or interfered with in any way. This is the straight, clear, pure voice of nature.